Hello, I am Jesús Eduardo Torres. I am going to tell you about the cinematic universe of Marvel and DC. Marvel became world famous thanks to its MCU films, and it had very good successes, mainly for the Iron Man and Avengers film. He made successful with his cinematic universe, but his animated films are so bad that they don't ever exist. There are only few series in the universe, but those that they are good do not continue them. All those that are bad are so bad that they do the continue more for more that to seasons so Marvel takes and bad point is apart. Just studying the DCAU, there were uh, already two units centful and with V and S is Man of Steel did to have so many problems. These two films promise many. Since for the first time we will see the biggest confirmation of Batman and Superman in the cinema, but eventually, sorry, received bad reviews for most and the fans. And SS how promised even more with the group led by Rick Fag that we will see for the first time on the big screen. And we quit go trailers a few months before it was released they changed the script so that the plot is not as dark that BHL. Finally, SS was another failure for the DCAU. No DC bets him after this year with the Wonder Woman, sorry, and the Justice League. Starting with the animated films, is doing 10 times better than the DCAU. Science for now it did not have any fans. In these films, the kill joke does not end up as promised, but it has a good movie. Currently, DC gave a use the league move. A little somewhat not good were the ever second. It is very good movie and the promise a lot for the future of DC. He had big hit likes The Dark King Rise Part 1 like Part 2 and like Batman Under the Red Hot. Most of his animated movie starred The Dark Knight, but they here also some great movie likes False Hockey, Batman and Superman, Public Enemies, among others.
Hello, my name is Guillermo González from the Team 3, and this is the title called Characters. The dispute between Marvel and DC Comics is one of the oldest in the comic book in the world. Asked about the difference in the appearance and aura of each creation of the publishing houses according to the internet, it indicates that both have some things that makes their characters unique. The characters of DC are not defined by a single artist who influences the rest as happened with the leadership of Jack Kirby in the Marvel brand, said by a famous magazine. Jack Kirby worked for Marvel and later for DC. Although in the later he made important contributions as the fourth word, while in the House of Ideas he was one of the architects of the pillars of the company. Kirby co-creation characters like Captain America, the Fantastic Four, X-Men, Avengers, and the Hulk, among others, while Steve Ditko co-created Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. On the other hand, in DC, although there have been relevant artists in the past, and in recent years, they have focused on characters and groups, writing their stamp on the different series, but not necessarily of the publishers. DC is the main component of where the DNA comes from that make being a superhero. But they create the first superhero with Superman, the first creation in incarnation of a dark superhero with Batman, and of course the first heroine with Wonder Woman. All these key points are lined up by them, which are on a nice descending ladder in the Justice League. Marvel characters are expanded into different areas of what make them unique, and there is an energy that has been in them since their inception. All other companies are modeled after the archetypes that DC embodies, but Marvel shies away, and that is ultimately the difference. DC created the archetype, and Marvel has looked to give it as a spin, so their respective contributions to the superhero genre are invaluable.
Um, Hello, my name is Owen. Today I'm going to talk about characters, the difference between characters of DC and characters of Marvel. Well, DC characters are not defined by a single artist who influenced the rest, uh, as was the case with Jack Kirby's leadership of the entire of Marvel brand. Everything is affected by leadership. In DC is the main component where the DNA comes from that makes a superhero. They create the first superhero with Batman, and the first great incarnation of a dark superhero with Batman, and of course the first heroine with Wonder Woman. All of these key points are linked up by them, which are not on a nice descending ladder in a Justice League. Marvel characters are explained into a different areas of what makes them unique, and there is an energy that has been in them since their inceptions. In terms of movies, Marvel already has a great advance in theaters with all the adaptations of its cartoons. DC instead has many adaptations of Batman, some of Superman, and very few of others members of the Justice League. But in the in the terms of the series, DC has many more than Marvel, but now Marvel tried um, to has more series. Well, no more, but they try to have more more aims uh, than its competition DC. Speaking of animation, DC has many cartoons to compare to Marvel, and that's all.
In conclusion, the difference between Marvel and DC Comics not too many. Each of the franchises have things that make them something unique. Whilst that Marvel is better than DC in the UC for the success and connections, DC Comics is the best of on video games, comics, and series. Apart that both franchises had the same creators in various aspects.